Salam Sejahtera and very good evening. Welcome to the Cobra Rugby Club Facebook page right here for Cobra TV. I am Rashid Saleh and alongside me is our Vice President Adilan. Also, we're both are members of the Legends and we're here at a brand new time at 9 p.m. We've moved our Sin Bin-cang slot from 4 p.m. to 9 p.m. due to popular belief rather than popular demand, because we believe that there'll be a lot more people on at this time rather than at 4 p.m. as we've loosened the MCO. So
we can get people at 9 p.m. compared to 4 p.m.
Definitely on a Tuesday, but we are still keeping to the 4 p.m. on the Friday because we'd like to have our guests, or rather our guests and audiences from around the world, especially the ones in Australia, because they're always keen to see us on the show right here on Cobra TV. Right, we've got a really interesting subject tonight because it's something that has always been around but never been discussed. Apart from the things that have been going on the field, a lot of the off-field activities have not really been highlighted, apart from the fights and everything else, but and the socializing. But the more important thing of how a rugby club is moved forward is something that we'd like to discuss, and we've got some two very special guests that will be joining us this evening. First is from a rival rugby club, Royal Selangor Club, that has been a long-time rival in up to the 90s, I suppose, up to the late 90s, and then they sort of fell down the pecking order for a long time. But they're still there in Kuala Lumpur. We did have the Super Series with them, the inaugural Super Series with Cobra, Royal Selangor Club, KL Saracen, and KL Tigers, of which KL Tigers won 2 years in a row. But he's still a stalwart of Royal Selangor Club and was my colleague at Astro Arena. Let's welcome him onto the show. Rod, how are you?
I'm good. Thanks guys for having me here. It's really good to be on finally on Cobra TV. I thought you guys don't want to invite me because I'm a member of Royal Selangor Club. So
no, we're not that cruel. We're not that cruel. I don't think we'll ever be invited for MRU, but we'll definitely invite people from all over. We don't discriminate. Cobra has always been open to everyone.
I know.
You guys if you love the game, you're always welcome.
Yes, yeah. That's right. That's very true.
I love you guys too.
All right. And then our next and final guest, he's probably the youngest in this group. He is what is termed a sports marketer, and he is helping out, or rather, I would say we're helping out with the Malaysia Rugby at the moment. So let's welcome him onto the show, Danial Mazalan. Hi, Danial. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for the introduction, Rashid. Appreciate it, though.
All right. Okay. Now, of course, the main subject that we'll be talking about is sports marketing and communications, and that's the area that the both of you are very well versed at, especially sports marketing from Daniel and communication, as I've known with Rod for quite a long time. And there's Figo work that says, "Hey, bros." So, at least we've got someone who's watching. There's quite a few people watching at the moment. Right now, first things first, let's get to know you guys. Nak tahu latar belakang kedua tetamu kita. Let's start with age before beauty. So Daniel, no, actually, okay. Rod.
A little bit introduction about me. Basically, last time, I studied a mechanical engineering course, graduate as a mechanical engineer, but, my passion will always be sports. So after I graduate, I straight away to do, specifically do sports marketing. And, I really love sports marketing because it gives me a space to explore, different things in sports. As growing up as a boy that loves sports, is something close to me. And, throughout, the days when I do this work, I actually learn a lot of things from different views and from the athletes that I met, because what I can tell everybody out there, every athlete will give you different story, and from there you will learn, how this, sports industry works. And, currently I'm helping Malaysia Rugby Union to do marketing for them. it was a dream come true for me because, last time, I've been trying to do marketings for rugby and I've been searching to do marketings for a state team. But, God fate, I got a chance. Our vice president, Mr. Zaki Sahran, he tried to revamp the marketing structure and he knew me before because I used to play with Asas last time. So I play under him. He's my coach. So Mr. Zaki called me, he offered me that position. He told me that you want to do this, it's like, let's revamp the whole structure of marketing in MRU and make it better in future. So I said, yeah, I'm happy to join. And that's what happened for the past 10 months.
All right, excellent. Thank you for the introduction. Now, Rod, of course, people from the rugby community will know you from your work at Astro Arena. But for the audiences who are not well versed, let us know who you are and what you do.
Yeah, for sure. I think before I start, I just want to thank you personally, Rashid, because if not you and Afiq who helped me like 9 or 10 years ago, I wouldn't have been where I am today. So thank you very much because you and Afiq were the catalyst helping me lah in shaping to what I am today. So terima kasih banyak-banyak, Rashid. So yeah,
Afiq's still around.
Okay. Anyway, so I think 9 years ago we started this show Rock and Roll together with Rashid. Rashid was the main host. I was the commentator. Afiq was the producer. So we hustled together for I think 1 season together. Then after that, Rashid, you left. Sadly, you left. But then after that, it opened up an opportunity for me to be the host and also the commentator to continue the legacy that you left. And I think we did well. We did well to promote rugby, and I'm still rock and roll is no more, but I am still together with Afiq. We are still doing our work in promoting rugby in our own way lah. So yeah.
Okay, you were also from Astro Radio as well.
Yeah, Astro Radio. So yeah, if you listen to the radio hits mix like era Syeda Zayan, I report traffic on radio. Traffic di atas Jabatan Pulau Pinang sesak, blah blah blah.
Yeah. So somebody's got to do it. Somebody's got to send the bad news. And your voice needs to be out there. It's like, apa ni yang bagi aku tu? Tahu ya, kita jam je.
Fun fact. My voice has been throughout the airwaves and been listened by probably roughly 14 million people. 14 million Malaysians. Fun fact.
14 juta.
Proud of you, bro.
Okay.
Not bad lah.
Cumulative over the last 10 years lah.
No. For every day.
Every day.
Every single morning, Dylan.
Ooh, okay.
That's why they say he used to have the face for radio, so he had to go on TV.
I knew that was coming.
Okay, anyway, jika kamu ada soalan kepada penonton kat luar, kalau ada soalan untuk tamu-tamu, please don't be shy. Write your comments in the comment section and let us know what questions you may have, so they can answer the questions too. Right, Dylan, do you want to start first or do you want me to start? Up to you.
No, I just want to highlight kepada semua penonton pendengar lah yang our two guests here, I think they've been in the rugby scene and they've contributed a lot to the rugby scene on the media end. So it'll be worthwhile. Just ask any questions. Don't, like Rashid said, don't be shy. I'm sure there's something to learn, especially if you're starting even if you're just a small team, you're starting out. Yeah, I'm sure there's something that then these guys can share to you. So hoping for some good questions to come.
All right, I think I'll start with you, Danial. Kepada penonton kat luar situ, apakah sports marketing?
Okay. To answer that question, Rashid, sports marketing is actually is an important job. It's not as popular as an engineer or doctor, but still it is an important role to put an impact to the sports. Because if you see, sports industry is a multi-billion-dollar industry, and then to do athlete is an athlete, If you go to the engineering perspective, athlete is like a machine, and there'll be an engineer, architects to run the things off. So same in sports, there'll be a marketer, there'll be a guys that run the sketch and everything. So basically what sports marketer do is, they need to strategize on the plots on how they want to sell, example, a team, okay, or an athletes or the brands, This is the things that marketer need to think to exploit. I'm not saying exploit is quite rough, to promote, the sports, the athletes, and, to engage more fans to come in. To do this job, right, Rashid, you need to understand what is the direction of the sports. What are you trying to do? You need to take note from every single perspective, from the athletes, from history of the stadiums, example, history of the athletes, how they grew up. This is the plot that you need, for you to attract people to come in and join you. The simple is still the same, no matter what is part of marketing, but how you want to plot it properly. And I know our topic today is about sports marketing. How you want to, make things as good as, example, like a big team like Manchester United, Liverpool, that kind of things, like rugby teams, All Blacks. Everything is actually plan it properly, and they execute it and promote it to everybody. So basically, a sports marketer is, you need to do a lot of work. You need to study, you need to understand, you need to feel it, you need to know what is the situation, you need how you want to plan it, everything. So that from the plan that you start from one point to another point is actually for you to attract people to come and support the sports. So that's how sports marketing works, Rashid.
All right, thank you. Rod, we've been in communication in terms of, TV and all that for a long time. In terms of rugby, when we started Rock and Roll, how important or was it important for us to communicate the right message so that people will understand rugby? Because rugby at the time was very, very much a minority sport.
Yeah. I think just to add on to Daniel punya point tadi, it comes back to creating fans. So without fans, kalau tak ada peminat rugby, then tak ada the sport, that particular sukan tak akan thrive lah, tak akan jadi famous. So contohnya macam Rock and Roll, our show last time. So that was the first show in, I think, throughout Asia that showcases rugby. It's a niche show that is directed to ataupun kita ada one particular target market, which is peminat rugby, but then again it is also being shown on a particular channel, which is Astro Arena, which is also a multi-sport channel. So whereby dekat situ ada peminat bola sepak, ada peminat bola baling ke, bola jaring ke, all this hockey and stuff. So diorang akan tengok juga, then after that diorang akan macam tertarik, apa benda Rock and Roll ni. So siapa Rashid Saleh? Rashid Saleh Kopitiam. Then after that Rashid Saleh still tau. I want to see this. So so that was, I think, Rashid, you were a great marketing tool, so to attract people to watch racket back then. Anyway, so to emphasize that sports marketing is really important to create fans, because without fans of that particular sport, then the sport won't go anywhere, because we can't move anything. We can get sponsors, we can we can convince the government to give us more money to grow the game. We can do anything. We can build a stadium, or probably grow Cobra as to what it is now. So creating the fans is the most important thing in terms of sports marketing and also broadcasting lah.
All right, thank you. Dylan, next question? Or shall I?
Yes, I have a question.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm the least media savvy among the three of you. But in any case, one of the questions that you talk about your plans, you talk about finding fans, but there's so many mediums. how do you identify, or how do you work out which medium do you go on, or like you got Instagram, you got Facebook, you've got radio, you've got all kinds of mediums. How do you sort it all out?
Okay, I'll start with that. I think
At the very least, give a scenario that maybe our listeners can sort of imagine.
yeah, for sure. Okay, the thing is, the landscape has changed throughout the years. So last time when we started rock and roll back in 2011, TV was the main medium, the main platform to showcase stuff. TV or radio. Radio, if you talk about radio, there's a combined listenership of 26 million. So Malaysia, we have 36 or 35 million in population. So 25 million is a lot to say kan. So if we put something on radio, of course the chances of someone listening to it is really high. TV, the viewership is not that as high as radio, but the viewership is still high. If you talk about TV3, TV1, TV2, the free TVs, and also Astro, we have 3 million subscribers. TV1, TV2, TV3, probably combination total viewership of 10 probably 10 to 12 million, or probably no. And I'm sorry, that was the statistic of 3 years ago. It could have grown by then. Anyway, so back in 2011, those two were the main mediums. But the thing is, there was a slow grower, which is the social media and also online digital platforms, Instagram, Facebook. They were not slow, but they boomed. I think back in starting 2014, 2015, right now to 2019, 2020, everyone is on Instagram, everyone is on Facebook, everyone wants to see if there's something viral. I can promise you it's either from Facebook or it's either from WhatsApp. So digital is I reckon at this particular age is the main medium, and that will be the future for the next at least 5 years, or probably more. But we can never neglect the traditional medias like print, TV, and also radio, because there are still people who have difficulty access to internet. So if you see the YouTube statistics, you see the coverage that people outside of the kawasan bandar or kawasan pekan, so the number of viewers is really low compared to people at concentrated areas in pekans and also bandar. So yeah, and also like if you subscribe to Astro, there's a satellite dish, so it is accessible anywhere. So yeah, traditional media. I cannot say anything because I
was going to say the same thing, but luckily Vice President said it first. So.
Yeah, all good.
Like the non-media guy said.
But Danial,
it is a problem that we are fixing. So yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, since the beginning. But let's move on. Danial, in terms of the social media, I suppose I could safely say that you have grown up more of the social media era. Yeah. How important was it that sport has come into this platform and the growth? Because as you know, the younger generation are a lot more on social media, and that's their platform, that's their news, that's their sports food for them.
Okay. To answer that, right, I mean, younger generation, they prefer to use, all these digital media platform, The reason why, youngsters nowadays, they don't want, things that is too long, it is boring, they just want something fast, fun, and, it's easy to see. So when I start to do this sports marketing, I said, for us, sometimes, this is a problem that most of the sports union in our country face, the lack of budget, how they want to spend on the, like buying media rights. in TV station or paying radio station, that kind of thing, to do promotion. On that part, it will be more expensive, and maybe that is the lack that most of the sports clubs or unions face. And the only way for you to get into this situation and to engage with the fans is the social media. So how social media works, right? Because it's a very simple thing. Like Instagram, you can post story, you can post on your feed, you can create an image, you can create a video. So this is the way it's easier to engage to the fans. When I start doing marketing for Malaysia Rugby Union, that time the followers was like around 19K. We managed to grow up, without paying any fans to come into, there's like an apps or something like a promotion to pay followers to come and follow you. We don't do that. I think it took us about 5 months. We managed to increase about 8,000 fans. And now our followers is about 35K, and on Facebook is about 40K. The social media platform is like, it's a soul to the younger generation, Rashid. And this is the best platform for us, to use and to spread all the details and infos. So that's where when I started to do these things, I know that, when I use this social media platform, I easily can get through to every single fan in Malaysia. And that's how, I can spread all the stories and the things off. This is the best example I can give it to you, Rashid. Last time, this is a little bit controversial, but, just to share with you, not badmouth anything, just a story that I can share with you. When, they decided, there's no contract for the Rimau Sevens players, right? MRU page, like every single day, flooded. There's a lot of, it's high, it's huge, and then a lot of things been viral, that kind of things. So you see, bro, that is how fast the social media things work. And this is also a platform for, these fans, to interact and communicate with people. So if you ask me personally, as a youngster and a guy that runs sports marketing, I see this is a very good thing, because you can run the things off without need, a complicated stuff, but you still manage to deliver all the infos and details to everybody.
Yeah. I mean, also to say that, bad news travels faster than good, but any news is better than no news. Correct. Yeah. So you were saying, Dylan.
Yeah, no, what would be your thought process, or how much work would go into just putting one Instagram post?
I know why you're asking, but yeah.
Dylan, how many times did you delete the caption?
No. Okay.
Just to call out, I see that because I've seen some great Instagram shots, pictures of the rugby players and MRU. So sometimes when I see that, what goes on behind it, and what kind of impact you're looking for, blah, blah, blah. So.
Okay. Daniel, before you start, I just want to tell a story. So I think probably a couple of months back, so I was on the MRU, Instagram, Insta Live. So I was doing it with Brad and with Duke Christian, former player. Yeah. Anyway, so prior to that, so Daniel was asking from me a picture. I don't know. Daniel wanted to help me to promote that particular show. Then after that, I gave him a simple design. It was like, "Hey, Rod, come on, Rod, give me a better design." So yeah, this guy.
I'm sorry, Rod. I'm a little bit fussy on that. I feel bad.
It's good. At least we know that I know that you're a fussy. I mean, you want everything to be perfect. I'm just telling people that I'm just telling everyone here that you want everything to be perfect. So yeah.
Yeah. Sorry for that. Okay. Just to answer Dylan and Rashid, maybe some of you wondering, how I do my work. Actually, I have a team. I have like about 5-6 staff that work with me, and to do one Instagram post actually is not easy, because again, when it comes to marketing, you need to spend budget, and you need to have a good budget to do it. And to have a very proper post, you need a real good people to work with you, So in my teams, like I have a writer, I have a designer, I have a content creator, I have a guy that run the plots, and I will, give an ideas through every single day. So how the MRU Instagram works is like we post every single day except for Thursday. I don't know why I don't like to post on Thursday because I call it a suey day. I don't know why. It's just a suey day. So when I post something on Thursday, it must be suey. Something like
I know
no
why.
lights.
That's when RSC trains.
Oh, that's deep, Rashid. That's deep.
Oh, ini masuk. Ini somehow.
Wow, that's
It
a
has become
nice
personal
swing, bro.
now. It's personal.
No. Yo, don't forget. Welcome to Cobra TV. Anyway, go carry on.
Okay, so I don't post anything on Thursday because for me it's a suey day. I don't know because that's a stats, but I don't give a shit about stats, bro. For me, I just believe on what my experience I've been through and where's the likes and most of the pictures, get the most likes from. So because I post it every single day. So every single day I will like discussing with my team, what is the topics all about, how you want to attract the fans. Because what's the story? You need to create every single thing. And personally, if you ask me whether is it an easy job, my answer is no. Because you really need to have a patience on doing it, And for me, if you don't have a patience, it's very hard for you to think. This is what happened, Rashid, because I post every single day, right? And if you see MRU Instagram page, every single day will be a new post. One day, I'm driving back, suddenly I'm running out of ideas, bro. Seriously. And then I'm driving around KL, like about, for 1 hour, keep looking at the trees, look at the buildings, because you know what, I need an inspiration, something to put inside my brain so that I can discuss with a team. So when I see something, it's like, oh, okay, tomorrow we're going to do a story about Duke. What design I want to put in? Okay, story will be like blah, 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 blah. What is the things that are going to impact the fans? How the fans going to look at it? Because Rashid, last time when Duke started to play in Japan, before I came in and do marketing for MR, there'll be like a less coverage for him. And for me, it's sad for me to look that way because, he's like the best player in Malaysia. And he played for a top league, bro. And I went there on his second year playing in Japan. And I see how, the fans loving him so much. So why not we as a Malaysian, we can't do that, So that's why when I came in, I keep highlighting about the players that playing outside, because just we want them to be acknowledged by the fans and the fans can see, hey, you know what? We have a very good talents that play abroad. And this is actually inspired the youngsters out there to follow their footsteps, to be better or, in future, a pro player, So that's the direction and that's what the marketing teams do, Rashid and Dylan. We need to inspire the youngsters out there and make things good for the fans.
Okay, in terms of the traditional clubs, especially the Cobra, CRSCs, I would say now the Saracens and the Tigers, they're the big traditional clubs. Of course, Chris Conley and his Wanderers, those have been in the scene for a long time. And I won't say Cobra because I think we've always constantly moved forward anyway. And luckily because, we have people in the system who are always doing it. And you've got, RSC has you, Rod. However, and Borneo Eagles, they I don't know whether they pay or not, but in terms of the ranking, you've got MR, you've got Borneo Eagles and Cobra, and then there's everyone else in terms of the number of followers, for example, on Facebook or whatever. But why are these clubs struggling to get players? Is one thing, getting players. Is there a correlation in terms of, because they're not, even though they're traditional clubs, and like I said, I'm taking away Cobra out of the equation. Is it because they are not well marketed, they're not well promoted, or is it because the rugby isn't being promoted well these days? What's your thought on that, Rod?
That's okay. Let me break it down. Okay, I think let's start with okay, probably this is just theory. Clubs like RSC, clubs like NS Wanderers, which has been around for quite some time. Probably we jumped on the bandwagon of digital a bit late. That's why there's there's a struggle in growing the numbers of social media, but also I think it comes back to fans. We don't have as much fans as probably Cobra, because Cobra, like you guys have Cobra 10s. And Cobra 10s is an inaugural event in Malaysia. Is, I think, for rugby, it's a national event, whereby because of Cobra 10s, that generated a lot of peminat and also fans. How by inviting kids, inviting people over, and you guys have all this coverage through traditional media, through social media, and through all the media that you can think of. So I guess for us, like RAC, I would take RAC as an example. We were once that using Jonah Jones to grow and also promote the brand, but I guess because Jonah Jones isn't there anymore, so it's a bit hard for us to really promote the brand and put it out there. So it's a bit hard. So I think clubs like this, we depend more to community, our own community, our own club members, our own former players, and stuff like that. I guess it goes the same with NS Wanderers. It goes the same with other clubs as well. They try to see the community first and ask help from the community, which most of the time the community will say yes, will help you. Of course, you have been there for me before. Of course, I'll be there for you now because I have money now. I can help you. So
Right.
yeah.
Okay, saying that, Daniel,
Yep.
do you think MR has a responsibility as a body to help these let's not even talk about the state associations, to the clubs who are in essence feeding players into the national side? In essence, is it okay? See, why don't you?
Can I answer that first?
Let Rod answer that first.
Yes, MR has a huge responsibility in probably not directly helping the clubs to promote their own club, but MR has a huge responsibility in growing the game. Okay, let's start with growing the game from grassroots, growing the game in schools, growing the game through the national team. So through the national team. So we have to start from the national team. So when the national team performs, for sure we'll get a lot of media coverage, left, right, center, TV, newspaper, radio, social media, blah blah blah, all the media that you can think of. So it must start from there. So how do you get the national team to be good? Of course, you need to look at the school system. How do you get the school system good? Of course, you have to look at the grassroots rugby. So yes, MR has a huge responsibility in growing the game, and they have to make sure that all these three levels are growing every year, and also they are at the best of shape to ensure that the game can be grown throughout Malaysia. Because of the national team, rugby is promoted enough through the media, so that when people like me, let's say when I represent RSC, to approach a company and say, hey, look, I have this proposal for you, for us to be a partner for X amount of years, for you guys to give us this amount of money. So what then they will ask back, so what sport do you play? Rugby. Oh, rugby, what's that? So we don't want people to come back to us and say, oh, what's rugby? So that's why I think MR has an important role to really promote and also grow the game by that way, the high performance.
Okay, that's true. That the physical, the on ground events, the actual tournaments. Now, what I wanted to ask was beyond that, in terms of the social media. Now, is it MR's responsibility to assist them in promoting through social media. For example, obviously national players, dia pemain, for example, this player, blah, 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 from this rugby club.
Yeah.
And also you can, there are there avenues for MRU to turn to the rugby clubs. And I said, without mentioning Cobra, to tell them how to teach them how to grow through social media, because I rasa there's a lot of clubs who don't know how to do that, let alone just individually, but as a club, as a sports organization or sports club, is it MR's responsibility to lead the way in terms of social media?
Okay, Rashid, I think I can answer that. Before that, Rod, what you said just now is like more on the growing up of the sports. I think I understand what you're trying to say, but I'm not going to touch on that. I'm straight away going to answer Rashid's question, and I think this is a very good one. And, maybe my answers can help a lot of clubs and, the state teams out there. When, Mr. Vice President, Mr. Zaki, want to revamp the whole marketing structure, I came in, into the pictures, and I tried to, sort things out. How to do a marketing properly, for the Malaysia rugby. And I can see a lot of positive things happen. The popularity of the players increase, people, the fans are so, whatever the things happen, they are really into it, they are, whatever things, I want these things to be solved as soon as possible. So I think on the marketing things, my side, on MR side, we do it our part, For us, Rashid, the reason why these things cannot be, we work as a bench, a trendsetter, Once we really run this type of marketings, and we hope, clubs and states will follow the footsteps. But this is the thing, Rashid. The problem with Malaysian sports industry is we have less sports marketer. That is our problem. There are no, like specific, if you graduate from university, right? If you ask me, I'm graduate, like holding a bachelor in mechanical engineering though. But why I'm doing this? Because it's my passion. There are no specific, like path, for these graduate students to be a sports marketer. If there are so many sports marketers out there, Rashid, automatically these small club states can hire all these people. You imagine, Rashid, if we have 14 states, you can hire 14 different sports marketers to do marketing for you. And I think that will be put a positive impact to you. We have more than 20 clubs in Malaysia. So you imagine every single club have a proper sports marketer and a marketing team. Because if you have these solid teams, automatically you can develop a good plot, a good story, for the fans to come in and join you and join the journey from the start of the season until the end of the season, So that's why I said on MR side now, we work as a trendsetter, and for us, to inspire these clubs and states to follow the same footsteps. Because Rashid, this is another example that I want to give you. You spend thousands of dollars on players. Example, playing in Agong Cup. But there's no promotion on it, How you want to promote the teams and the players to the fans? Am I right? Right? So you need a right marketing teams to run a marketing works for the clubs or, a state teams. But you also need to bear in mind, to have a proper marketing system, you need to spend a budget. Nothing is free in this world, simple as that, This is not a formal show. I just tell you what's the situation looks like. Because the mentality of the sports union, sports club, sports, whatever states, you do marketing, free. Free. Okay. Nanti bulan kita kira lah berapa. Are you serious, man? We are doing work. I'm using brain, bro, every single day. If you think like calculation on building, engineering buildings is complicated, try to do this. I'm telling people, try to do this. I think you know what I'm trying to tell you guys.
I love the passion in this.
Yeah. So
hangat.
Come on. Dylan,
There are platforms. Ada platform sekarang macam, okay, I will use example lah. Muiz punya rugby online. Dia rajin. Tiap-tiap minggu dia pergi mana tournament, dia pergi video. Dia buat online platform dia. Now he's dedicated because I've done commentary work with him in Cobra Tens. He knows every referee by we're standing up in the rafters. I don't know, maybe a couple 100 meters away. He knows the referee by face. Dia tahu dah semua. But somehow or other, a guy like him is still struggling. So macam as a platform like that, a person like that, would something where MRU with all the because MRU is a trendsetter, is there something the MRU can do to support a guy like him? Because he helps promote the game.
Okay, Dylan, to answer you, simple as this, this is the things. When, MRU start to do a proper marketing, we actually managed to, increase some, independent page, to support and create a story for fans. That is good. And that is the direction that we want for this, independent pages, it's like Rugby Online, Rugby Mind, that kind of thing. Super good, I really respect, because, when we push a higher level marketing, people will follow the flow and start to expand the things. And, there'll be like a private blog talking about rugby. Everything is about rugby. That's where you can expand the sports. And for MR, for us now, I don't see any like specific programs to do this. But in future, it's good to actually, have a cause for the states or the clubs to do a proper marketing for the teams. And other way, we also can, develop a new sports marketer inside there. And that's the thing. I think that's the direction that, MR can lead and bring all these, independent pages, fans and followers that try to talk about rugby to another level. So yeah, Dylan, that's for you.
Yeah, as we know, rugby is now an Olympic sport through this the seven-a-side format, and as much as we are trying to get there, whatever the dreams are, we there are steps along the way. However, in terms of sports marketing and communication, Rod, as you and I know, the reason why shows like Rock and Roll was started was not only to educate people on rugby as a game, but later on you focus more on individuals, their stories, and that was something that is missing in a lot of the clubs. Now, once that's why I would say Cobra succeeds, because people know the history of the club, and we mention it, and we drum it into everyone's head every single day, and people know what Cobra is all about. But is that something like someone like RSC, which has a very long history, is something that's missing from teams like RSC, like NS Wanderers? Because we know as players, especially Dylan and I playing in the 90s, early 90s, we know how strong they were. The police, the armed forces, the Black Hawks were big teams then. Why are they not being, we know if you talk about Kiwi teams, New Zealand teams, which teams are good because every single day or they're being promoted. Is that something that's missing, do you think, in with clubs here in Malaysia, Rod?
Yeah, I think in terms of okay, let me talk about Cobra first. You guys you guys evolve, like you guys evolve with time, and you guys again you guys organize Cobra 10s, and because of Cobra 10s, the amount of noise that you guys were making were continuous every year. So people was exposed to Cobra 10s one way or the other, is either through social media or traditional media. And I think the other clubs. Let's take NS Wanderers. The NS Wanderers has NS Royals. There is which is the Royal Sevens, which is organized every year in Seremban. But probably they are not making as much as an impact because of the amount of coverage that they are getting, number one, and also probably the teams that was involved in the tournament. So because of that, the amount of coverage that they were getting wasn't as big compared to what Cobra was getting. Same like Jonah Jones. Probably Jonah Jones, there was 1 year we had 7 international teams, but that was 1 year or probably 2 years that we had that. And because of that, again, the amount of coverage, the amount of noise that was made wasn't as impactful as what we want it to be. But the thing is, if we talk about tournaments like Jonah Jones and Royal Sevens, it is enriched. It is everyone, semua orang tahu dekat Malaysia ni what is Cobra Tens, what is NS Royals, what is Jonah Jones Sevens. But the noise that it was making, it wasn't as impactful as Cobra Tens. How we can overcome it is by having a the thing is, the plan was there. The plan was there for Royal Sevens. The plan was there for Jonah Jones. But I guess because of the prestige of the teams that was playing, the international teams that was playing, you guys had before Canterbury coming, you guys had North Harbour coming, you had NPC, ITM, is either semi-pros or professional players coming to Cobra Tens. You had former All Blacks playing in the Cobra Tens. Jonah Lomu played in the Cobra Tens. So that's why I think in terms of the noise that Cobra was making was more impactful than any other clubs that was doing in Malaysia. The thing is, right now, the other club that is making a lot of noise is Borneo Eagles. So Borneo Eagles, I think they are doing a great job in their own right. Every year they bring people like Segod and Techens. They bring people like Tanah Umaga. You bring Tanah Umaga to Cobra Tens that day. Everyone wanted to see him. I think he hit at one corner to try to avoid people because too tired. So the impact of the prestigious players that you guys makes it a great impact for the tournament. So that's what I think about it.
We didn't bring him. Actually, it was Eagles that brought him, but
Eagles. Yes,
we invited them. And
you guys brought Eagles technically, so one way or the other.
Did I just call Cobra Eagles? Sandakan Eagles. Formerly known as Cobra Sandakan.
It's not recorded now. I gotta put it on Kangaroo Court later on.
No, formerly known as Cobra Sandakan. Remember?
2004.
This is something I want to touch. Rod, I think something you and Rat, you see like the rock and roll. It was maybe a half an hour segment with some ads in between.
Yeah, half an hour to 1 hour. It
half
started
an hour to 1 hour. Yeah. You see, to me, there's one example of making you're making noise, but a lot of people listen. I feel like what you're saying is that you making noise is one thing, but how do you make enough noise that people will actually listen?
Oh, that's a great question, man. So I think
just like your beautiful voice.
No, it comes back to a problem. I can see how do you want to make it impactful? Put Rashid Saleh in. Kopitiam guy.
The X factor of an athlete, bro.
No, but Daniel, yeah. But Daniel, it's a chicken and egg thing, isn't it? Because if you don't make the noise, you don't get people watching or people coming to the club. But if you don't invite people to the club, you don't tell people about the club, you also won't make any noise. So what is it nowadays? Nowadays, do you need to promote the club or do you need people to come back to the club? Which one?
I think
you build a story for the club or what?
Okay,
what
I think
people want to know.
The current thing that I think is in trend is the story behind everything. So people want to hear, people want to listen to the story, whatever story that they have. Of course, it must be an interesting story lah. Kalau boring story, siapa nak dengar kan? Betul. So it needs to be an interesting story, yeah. But then again, it all needs to be it needs to start from a story. Whatever it is, it needs to start from a story. And if we talk about rock and roll, story is one thing, and also people want to see high performance. People want to see the impactful tackles. People want to see the tries from the fastest of tries. People want to see the intercepts. People want to see the drop goals. People want to see the action. Without that, okay, let's say I'm not stepping on anyone's toes here. Okay, let's say if we just show rugby under fives playing on TV, would that make an impact? Probably to the under fives, there's a small group, but people like, let's be real here. People, fans 20 years and above, 30 years and above, would they really watch that religiously for half an hour? I don't think so.
No.
Kan? So it all comes down to, like I said just now earlier, everybody has a responsibility to develop high performance, yes, and also organize all these big tournaments so that people like me and Red can cover all that huge tournaments, so that we can put on all these mediums, so that people can watch and people can be more interested to the game. So yeah.
So, I've sort of taken a sabbatical anyway because I'm in charge of MMA, so I'll come back. So
Right.
my different sport right now. But Daniel, for clubs, what's the process if they were to start? I mean, what's the kind of planning that needs to be done to start marketing or your club through social media? What is the first thing that they need to think about? Barring money and all that, but what is it? What is it? You need to plan 1 year, half year, 1 week. What is it? Themes.
Okay, first thing, they need to have an Instagram, right? That's the most important thing. They need to have an Instagram account, Facebook account, and Twitter account. And then when you want to start marketing for your clubs and teams, you need to have like weekly plan, monthly plan, and a year plan. What is the contents all about? Don't be surprised that some of marketers, they can really plan the sports story for the next 10 months, 11 months, So that's why I say if a clubs want to start, please start it, because, when you start to promote your players, to promote your clubs, you can easily be identified by a lot of people. So example, right, because nowadays, the technology is like super good. People can observe a player, they can just do a scouting through phone, that kind of things. You don't need to have like a proper things, as long as you have like a proper image, proper videos, that's good enough. But plot it very well, this week, from Monday to Sunday, what is the story you want to talk about? Done, first week. Second week, Monday to Sunday, what you're going to talk about. So this is the process that you need to do and keep on going and repeat it day by day, And
Except Thursdays.
Except Thursday, maybe because I already see, train. Sorry, Rod, I didn't mean to do that, but Red taught me just now, So, yep.
Yeah, I think the word that we are looking for there is plan. I think everyone needs to have a real good plan. They need to go back to the drawing board, tulis what's their plan, step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. And if they're not sure, I think the best thing is you need to ask, because I think in Malaysia, people don't ask as much, help to others. So I think planning is really important, and also coming back, I think why we do sports marketing ultimately, of course, because we want to generate income for the clubs.
Yep.
Please, everyone out there, don't go approach someone, approach a company and say, okay, I want you to sponsor my club, club ABC. Okay, your name will be here, there, and also on the A board. That's it. Come on.
That's the old way of doing it, and it used to work.
Bro, everyone is still doing it. Yeah, of course,
No.
it's the old way, but everyone is still doing it. And yes, it's the old way, and we have to scrap that. We need to be in the moment right now. Bukan je letak kat sini kan. Don't put your brands.
But
you need to. Yeah.
I just want to add from Rod. I mean, what Rod said, is true, because it's typical. You come here, sponsor us. You can put it on the chest, But please teach people outside there, what is this all about? When you put something on your chest, how much it costs? When you put on your badge, how much it costs? So this is the details that you need to tell the sponsors. This is what you will get as a return of investment the moment you sponsor us. And then when you do a proper marketing plan, it's actually you manage to excite the fans to keep on following your journey from the start until the end of the season. So that's why, I said why sports marketing is very important, right? Because this is actually, a group of humans that connect the sports, the fans, the medias, and, this is like a point to connect everything. So that's why I said people need to really look into the sports marketing, especially to the clubs and the state. Maybe after this, COVID-19 is going to, slow down and end, we're going to start our league again. Go on. I saw KL Saracens already start doing it, They post nearly every single day, like Cobra doing this kind of live show. RAC, I don't know what's Rod doing, but, maybe there'll be a new plan in the future.
Instagram, okay?
Yeah.
You have to follow.
I don't know, man.
Pause TV.
Pause
Yeah,
TV,
Rod
exactly.
TV. Yeah,
Saw some
but
training videos.
I'm
Pause TV.
hoping that, the clubs and the states or whatever rugby, as long as you play rugby, please do this. We can excel when in the future the moment we work together. That's all I can say.
Adding on to Daniel's point tadi, because okay, but when you say that, okay, let's say you put your logo here, this is how much it will cost. You put your logo here, how much it costs. The thing is how people don't know how to put a price to it. So I think you need to go back to the drawing board and plan, and also make sure that you have the numbers. You have the numbers of how many spectators that comes to the game, how many Instagram followers that follows the club's Instagram, how many Facebook likes or followers that you have on Facebook, how many Twitter followers and likes that you have. So then the potential sponsor or the sponsor can say can have a look at the figures and say, oh, okay, this is our numbers, this is good, so okay, we'll contribute, we'll give back to the community. Because if you don't give that value, why would that person give you that money? There's no value to it. Someone wouldn't give you money just because okay, I just want to sponsor a rugby team. Yeah, there is the old thinking of the rugby community, but we need to move forward. We need to have a plan. We need to put everything on paper. We need to show people the numbers. Numbers is very important.
Numbers.
Yeah.
Okay, kita ada soalan daripada Figure Work. Adakah blueprint DNK falsafah rugby negara membantu klub-klub untuk menentukan hala tuju marketing dan pelan media mereka? Danial nak jawab soalan ni?
I can answer this. How to say, it's not like, a specific blueprint or DNA, different country will have different way to promote it, At the end of the day, when you do marketing, it involve the scenario and the atmosphere around you. Example like you go to Kedah, there'll be a different way to plot a story. You go to the Johor's team, there'll be a different way to plot the story. The union can put a good benchmark on it. We will do our own way, by promoting and the process and the flow. For the state, you can follow it, but make it your own way. To promote the things up, because different team will have different culture, different team will have different friends, different team will have different achievements. So that's how you create the story, so that you can attract the fans to come in and support your team. And for the union, like MR, we just doing our work because we covered the whole nation, right? So from the state, you can be more specific on down there. So from us on top, when we see these things moving up, is something that help to develop the sports very well in future.
Yeah, that's very true, because as you said, each state, each club, they have their own culture in terms of moving things forward. Now, which is why I keep harping on why is it important that MRU shows the way and leads the way, and also educates that. So, Daniel, I mean, this question would be for you. Do you think that MR must do this? Not suggest, but actually go down to the states first, because I think the clubs, it is an onus on us to be able to do it for ourselves, because the states at the end of the day are directly under MR.
Yep. I think to answer this question, for me personally, yes. MR need to take that responsibility, to teach the state team, how to do the things off. Because like I said just now, Rod, example, if the team plays in Agong Cup, you have a very solid players, you have a very solid management team, like what, the Bunga Raya management team did last year. They did an awesome job. But if there's no promotion on it, that'll be a problem. It's like, the message stop in the middle and you cannot transfer all the details to all the fans. So for me, if you ask me personally, I'm not talking, like the whole union. I really want, the union to come into every state, like we have like 16 states, 14 states. We come in, we do course together, how to do marketing, that kind of things. Because not everything can be seen by the union. Some of the talents will be discovered by the state. So the state will discover first. So the moment they keep on highlighting the top players, that is actually an additional point for the union to see, hey, you know what? There's a good players in Kedah. There's like tons of talents in Terengganu and Kelantan. So that's why I said, I think it's a must. And yeah, we need to do that in future.
Yeah, because we're seeing that with FAM and football. Players are being discovered, or at least those had either grandfather was Malaysian or grandmother Malaysian through social media.
True.
And we should be able to do that in Malaysia itself dengan pemain-pemain rugby. We know,
Yes.
what's missing is there's a lot of talent in Sabah and Sarawak,
True.
but we don't know because dia tak disiarkan, or it doesn't come out on social media.
True.
So in states like Sarawak and Sabah have got talent, but they don't have the structure in terms of marketing their players. So a lot of those players fall by the wayside. You got boys who are big size who can play, but no one is marketing them. So
They must be Milano boys then.
no.
Right. I just want to share you some of my experience. Before this MCO COVID-19 spread, right, I had a chance to play rugby in Bintulu, in Sarawak. I had a chance to play last 2 years there, and I had a chance to play, last 4 months back. So when I went there, I started to play rugby there, to see all the players that are playing in Bintulu specifically, and there's a lot of talents all around Sarawak that came and played there. I was so surprised to see like there are so many good players that can, speed very fast. They have the size, and that is something that, if like the state take an action to highlight about the players, we can actually tell the scout, hey, you know what? You go to Sarawak, find these players, bring him to KL, and we see what we can do from here. Again, like you said, there are so many talents out there. It's just that leave it to the state whether they want to discover it or not, But again, marketing's work.
Adding on to your point, I think the other thing that we tend to overlook is schoolboys rugby. Because schoolboys rugby, yes, I think Rugby Online RO has done a good job in covering all these tournaments, MSSM, MSSS, and some of the tournaments that are around Malaysia. But in terms of probably the state union or probably the MSSS, MSSM, what they can do is they can highlight that particular player through their own channel, their own social media, Instagram, Facebook, whatever. They can have short clips of these players doing crazy side steps, young Thomas Kama side steps, or William Ryder side steps that we rarely see on the field. So that these players can be identified. There is some form of talent identification, not only on ground where the teachers are who are the coaches are able to see, but also probably people like the national coach Brad Mika can see, hey, this guy got potential. We should bring him into this particular program. So yeah, that's the other avenue that I think we tend to overlook a lot.
There we go. Dylan, you're like, just taking that all in.
No, I've got a whole lot of queries. Banyak ni. Tapi macam
processing.
Satu Instagram post banyak lah. When I look at Figo's question, soalan dia, adakah blueprint DNA falsafah rugby ni dari segi MR, ya, ni patut dia take advantage of how to transfer MRU, because MRU macam is the pinnacle for Malaysian rugby. Yeah, if as a Malaysian player you reach you play for Malaysia, that's your top level already. So the thing is macam social media marketing. This one way for if you were to go down to the clubs or to the state, you share your expertise. You're also sharing your philosophy. Emma's philosophy on what excellence, achievement. There's something which I feel that when I look at that Figo's question, that something that Emma should take the onus in making sure they pass on. You know, when you do this, you're passing on the philosophies of how to succeed.
Yeah, I guess it comes down to the direction that they need to set lah, kan? They need to set to all unions. This is the direction we're taking. So we want you guys to do this particular things. And I think okay, I am a little bit more about me. I am also a scuba instructor, a PADI scuba instructor. So PADI, Professional Association of Diving Instructors, every now and then they will have all these webinars. So the thing is, because these guys who are conducting the webinars, they are based in Australia, so they have everything online training, online webinars and whatnot. So we'll have instructors from Thailand, Malaysia, Indonesia, Japan, China listening in to whatever these guys presentation, because now we have technology, right? So I think Malaysia Rugby can also take that approach and also have all these unions in a webinar, in a online to tell them and also have an update every month, to tell them, okay, I think you guys should do A, B, C rather than D, E, F, because our direction is G, H, I, J, whatever. So yeah, I think that approach needs to be taken as soon as possible, because right now I don't see any direction. Everyone is doing their own stuff. I'm at home right now talking to you guys, so I haven't heard anything. So yeah, that approach is to be taken lah.
I mean, what Rod said, there's a point that we can be taken, and we can use it in the future. But again, the direction that our President Datuk Sharul and our Vice President Zaki Saran to revamp and bring the marketing team to run these things is actually a direction for other states to come and follow. I mean, in future, as what Rod said, we want to do that, where every states come and report to us so that we know what is the particular point that we can advise them. Hey, you know what, you need to do this. So automatically you will find a very good players, good culture, good fans in a very easy way. So that's how the marketing can connect from one point to another point, and that will lead into a positive impact. And as what Rod said, you need to put like a proper things. I think this is something that we can do in future, and some things will benefit to every single fans in Malaysia.
But the reason I asked this question and why I'm pushing it, because the Agong's Cup is a very good product for MR. True. And over the years, it's not been promoted properly. And as much we promote the players and the clubs and all that, the Agong's Cup is MR's Cobra 10s. That is the premier. That is the FA Cup. That is the product for Malaysia Rugby. Why it's never been promoted properly? It was fiercely competed in the 90s and the early 2000s. It has become secondary. This is the Agong's Cup we're talking about. Agong's Cup. It is the premier. It should be the premier competition that should be highlighted every single year, like our FA Cup Malaysia, our Malaysia Cup. Rugby's Agong's Cup is where the head coach should be looking at the players and go, this is where I'm getting it. That's why I asked right from the beginning, why are you not helping the states? Because at the end of the day, you have a product right in front of your eyes, and you haven't utilized it. So
Okay, right.
it's the reason
and it's,
beginning
and
with IRCs.
And it's a beautiful product because players, for them, one of the highlights of a rugby career is to play in the Agong Club.
It's your country.
Bigger than the club, bigger than anything else for them.
Bigger. Those days, the importance of playing for the state was so it helped you grow as a player. It helped you see in the eyes of the national team.
Okay. Right. To answer you that, I had a chance to do, Agong Cup promotion. It's a very short time because I just started that time and I'm trying to do changes inside that. But for that time, I cannot specifically go to every single state to do course, that kind of things. But we managed to do like a promotion things, create a nice image, a players and the players, and then after that, the results. And when the finals pop in, between Terengganu and Sabah that time, we managed to get a full house coverage, because it's a very short time that time, right? We don't have a specifically things to do properly in terms, by showing the states, hey, how you want to do the marketing. But taking to that point, in future, I know Agong Cup is the biggest one, Actually, like you say, this is like an ultimate, tournament other than MRL, and actually, our job is to make every single players that play inside there excited to be there, and in future, as what I can see these things going to, we want to help the states to be better in future, and so that when the time Agong Cup came in, you can pull like all the fans to come in, because it's a state-based situation. It's easy to attract fans rather than the club fans base, because when it states, you easily can oh, you are from Kedah, you can easily attract Kedah people. Although he watch football, he watch netball, the moment is like a state things, they will come and watch. I clearly understand the ideas that you throw in, Rod and Dylan, and the next Agong Cup, I'm not promised anything, but I think it will be something huge. Simple as that. I'm not a politician again, so I'm not going to promise anything.
As you guys mentioned, planning.
Yep, that's the thing.
Planning. It may not be the best looking Agong's Cup, but it's sure if it makes enough noise, people will come and watch.
Can I also add? I want to also add some points in terms of marketing. Probably let's take the Agong's Cup. The Agong's Cup. Okay, I've seen the growth from 2011 since I joined. Rock and roll till now. The growth and also how the sport, the Agong's Cup was organized. I think the right word here is organization. So from finals at Padang AUPM to finals at Padang UKM, Stadium Mini UKM, to Stadium Mini UPM, to Stadium Kelana Jaya. So I think the other thing that we need to look at is the tournament prestige. How MR organized the tournament and kept its prestige. So it was. The thing is about Piala Agong, about MRL, Malaysia Rugby League, or formerly known as Malaysia Super League, up and down.
Formerly known as MRSL.
MRSL, yeah. So there's a lot of names already. So I think it's up and down. There's no real consistency where something to look forward to, or something that was to improve in the next year previously the first tournament into 2011 was if I'm not mistaken, the final was at Padang AUPM. Then the next year was at Stadium Mini UKM. Then the next year was at Kelana Jaya Stadium. Then the next year, back to Padang AUPM, back to Padang. So there's no prestige there. So how people, number one, the media want to take you seriously. This is the biggest tournament in Malaysia supposedly, but it's being played at Padang. I mean, respect to all this UPM, Padang is nice and whatever, but it's a huge tournament. It's the biggest rugby tournament in Malaysia. It should be organized at a prestigious punya venue where you can
like a new Malaysia rugby stadium, right? Anyway, so there's Chong Yung Sen here says, how about merchandising during the Agong's Cup? I think it would also add value to the teams, meaning the state teams, and help spread the word about teams just by having fans to wear merchandise, which is very true. That's why people wear a lot of state football teams. So jerseys. Is that something that you guys at MR also need to look at? How to assist in the state to be able to help them promote their state through selling of jerseys. I mean, there's a lot of ideas now being thrown around. So and the ideas are all there from the different sports. I mean, whatever failings football has, they've tried everything. They've tried everything, and we should look at that and go either learn from their mistakes or learn from whatever success they have. And and to me, as the president of MMA Malaysia, I'm learning from rugby and football because they're a brand new sport. So
I want to answer that question, right? Merchandising is actually a part of marketing where you can expand the popularity of the sports and to attract people to come in to be part of the family. It's kind of like bringing people inside a bubble to get their comfort zone. So when it comes to merchandising, it's actually a club effort. In other way, they also can increase the revenue of the club, so they can earn money from selling the merchandise. And if we can have a strong team, I'm talking about the states, okay, to sell this merchandise, to create an identity, to do that, I think it can put a positive impact to the sports. Example, we see, in Malaysia there are so many local brands, like Carisbrook, Tackle, Torpedo, there are so many others, like Bogor District, I'm not sure, District Rugby,
Jangan lupa Alexan yang kau pakai tu, Alexan.
Alexan. Hi Alexan, I'm doing free promotion, So, this is actually the way for, if example, they are selling a rugby brand, they can approach the states and do a collaboration, a proper collaboration, in merchandising and monetize things from selling the merchandise, So I think, good idea from the person that asked the question.
Merchandise MRU yang jersey tu, siapa decision maker?
Okay, you mean the
decision by president atau Alexan this decision?
This is quite controversial if I answer that, because I'm not in the loop when they do all this.
I don't think you want to put him on the spot for that. But
no, I mean, I'm for real.
Get this question.
Ilman Shazwan, get our place to date artists, influencers to quickly publicize the game.
Okay, this is a way of marketing. I don't know. Okay, this is just a random opinion, right? And when Hilman asked me, something pop up inside my brain. Do you realize that none of our rugby players date hot girls out there? To increase the popularity. You see, like football players, they date like all the hot chicks, that kind of thing. That's where they push the name of the players and the sports. Again, it's just a random question, But I'm not taking, because usually it put the players to death. So I'm not going to.
Farin, dengan I nak tanya Tukro lah. Are you dating now? But another question here by Habib Hanif. What's the direction of MR on promoting the game to non-rugby players and fans? That's what football did, was to have female commentators. Not saying we want to replace you, Rod, but that was they had female hosts and female commentators to get non-rugby players, non-football players, and women to watch football. Do you think it will work the same way, Rod, for rugby?
Yeah, of course, definitely. If you talk about women, the women's game is growing, and of course, if we get some, a woman to be involved in the game, through broadcasting or being a host, of course it will definitely grow the game. And of course, if they're prettier the better. But let's not talk about how prettiness can grow the game lah. But in all seriousness, to give the game another diversity, another probably different face. And just like you read, that we have a shelf life, so that we can be in front of the camera until a number of years. Then after that, someone will replace us. So yes, we need someone new to come through the ranks and replace us for in the future. But okay, that is in terms of broadcasting lah. But also we need to think about the things that is evolving, how the media is evolving. We need to think of that as well, and that's where MR need to think what is good for the sport in Malaysia and set the direction. So that's what I think.
Your thoughts, Daniel?
For me, we actually have a lot of plans, to promote the sports to non-rugby fans. This is actually, taking a little bit time where, you need to create a nice story, a nice, activities, for the fans to come in. Because sometimes when you look generally through social media, it's like a starting point to bring them to go and watch the real match. Sometimes these fans, they went to the match and, they follow the social media. So, there are so many ways and, not a static direction for us to get the fans to come in. I mean, like a non-rugby fans. But, as from MR, like we doing marketing things, we keep on doing the things that, promoting the sports to all type of sports fans, generally. We are not specifically only for rugby fans. That's why if you see, some of the posts, it's all about, general knowledge, what is all about rugby, what is this players all about, So that is something that can attract, like a non-rugby fans to come in and, to enjoy the sports.
And be educated on it. There's a very good comment here by Hairul Shazwan Azhar. The Bunga Raya logo used by MRU last time we heard it was getting patented. Wonder what's the progress on that? I know the process can take years, but losing exclusive rights over the logo is a lost opportunity to generate revenue. I think that's the case with a lot of clubs and brands across the world. That reminds us, which is what we're actually in the midst of doing anyway.
Okay, currently on the situation that we're having now, we really registered the things off, patent it, but, to patent it is taking like a little bit time of process. But, God will, I think the moment it starts next year, when the thing starts, everything will be officially used, the logo being registered and it's officially used by the union. So, after this, maybe from there, we can, monetize some other stuff that if you want to use this kind of logos, it's kind of like an exclusive to the union. So, it's still going on. And, we the teams are doing their parts and we will wait for it, the moment it is there. And we will make an announcement. No issue on that.
All right. Okay. Because, as soon as it becomes patented, you'll get all our pirated copies coming out. So it's like, it's so, whenever you go and watch if you've been to watch football games, especially with Jala, you'll go to one corner near the LRT, just walk there and you see all the other, jerseys. You're always tempted to buy it because it's so much cheaper. But
why do you cough there? What do you cough? I see.
You bought the fake jersey, right?
No. Football jersey, excuse me. If I want to wear yellow, I just wear my Cobra jersey and no one says anything because Malaysia wears the same colors as Cobra.
Right now only wears other than Cobra jerseys, he wears MMA shirts.
Yeah. Of course. I have to. I don't have a choice. But yeah, okay. I know we're actually way past the time. But any last
Wow.
words, gents?
Right, you want to start first?
Oh yeah, sure. I think I hope everyone has learned something of a thing or two in terms of sports marketing, and I hope in the future that the game can grow. At the end of the day, I think especially the four of us here, once we want to grow the game together, we want rugby to be one of the top sports in Malaysia, and I hope all of us can someday can see rugby on top as one of the top sports in Malaysia. So yeah, hopefully everyone works hard towards that direction, and we can enjoy rugby as one of the top sports one day, inshallah.
With your experience as a rugby host and commentator and all the production that you've done over the years, what would you advise rugby teams and clubs going forward? In terms of going forward, especially with sports marketing and communication, which is the theme of our show today.
I think number one, have a plan. Number two, set aside some budget for the plan, and number three, execute the plan well. Don't follow through. Whatever you have planned, follow through. If you're not unsure, ask. You can get help. You can get experts, people like Danial, people like Red, people like probably yourself, Dylan. I'm sure you are well versed in sports marketing, at least a little bit as well, because you guys have experience in promoting Cobra 10s, which is one of the most successful rugby tournaments in Malaysia, or even me. So it takes time, but also you need to go back to the drawing board and plan. I think that the key word here is plan.
Daniel?
I just hope all the fans out there, let's work together, to grow the sports together. We just hope in future we have a very good players. We have a very good fans. We have a very good the crowd. So we need to utilize it and work together as a team to grow the sports in the future. And I just hope there'll be a lot of sports marketer that have patience on doing the sports things that you can see there's a lot of sports, and you just continue doing it, and some things can benefit the sports. And yeah, I just hope you guys enjoy the new marketing teams in MR, and keep on supporting us, and we hope we can deliver the things that you want, and you can enjoy it every single day by the post that we posted.
Well, I wish you guys luck, especially because you know how hard it is to get things like this done. Whether it's or especially for social media and trying to get the eyeballs onto rugby, and not let alone the social media pages is
like
it's
a
a lot
TV
of
show
hard
like
work.
this.
Like a TV show like this. There you go. And
Hey.
somebody has to set the trend.
I want to add one more thing. I want to
Yeah.
add one more thing to everyone,
so
also
excited.
to all the audience. The other thing that we can help each other is by clicking the like and subscribe button to Facebook, YouTube,
True.
Twitter, Instagram, so that we support each other. So at the end of the day, we can tell people, hey, look, our numbers are here, this much, this much.
Yep.
So
Yep.
we can only help each other and grow the game better by doing that. So yeah.
Well, to get an RSC player to like the Cobra.
Hey,
Rugby
I
Club
have
page.
liked your page 10 years ago. Please, dude.
I'm just saying. Just saying. I said some players. I didn't say you. Why terasa?
Right.
We have to admit one thing. Cobra was good because RSC was just as good, and it was always a nice. It's like to be great. You had to be a great club. There has to be other great clubs.
Let me add on to that. The original members of Cobra were the members of RSC. So
That's a good ending, bro.
Not all. Okay, but on that note, thank you very much, gentlemen, for joining us. Have you got final one, Dylan? What do you want to add?
No, when you talk about sports and marketing, pretty much new to the game, being a vice president of a club, you're trying to figure out how to grow the game and grow the club at the same time. And is where guys like Daniel, Mazalan, and Rat, everybody has a role to play. And I hope, like I said, click the likes, click the things, and all feedback. And the thing is, for those listening, feedback, very important, feedback. We want to listen to your feedback on how to improve.
There we go. Once again, for those of you who just joined us, we've already gone to a new time slot for Selasa. Sin Bin-cang will be on Tuesdays at 9 p.m. And Fridays, we may have Snake Eyes back, but we shall see. But apart from that, thank you very much again, once again, gentlemen, Daniel, Rod, for joining us right here on Sin Bin-cang for Cobra TV. And we hope that, you guys have enjoy the successes in future, and also to our audiences. Terima kasih kerana sudi bersama kami pada sejam setengah ni. It was supposed to be an hour show, but again, when things are rolling, I don't like to just cut people off. So, but thank you very much. A really good insight. You can see with Dylan, there's a lot more ideas that's coming into his head right now, so that's great. So the wheels have started turning. Okay, thank you very much to all of you. As Rod said, don't forget to like, subscribe on our show, follow us, and we're on twice a week. Do follow RSC Rugby. They're on Instagram. Do follow, of course, Malaysia Rugby as well. Yep. I said it, and support rugby.
Thank you, Ray.
From all of us here at Cobra TV, thank you very much. Have a good week ahead, and we'll see you on the Friday sessions on Cobra TV. Bye-bye.